you're looking at your program, you'll probably notice that I'm not Senator Dan Dockstetter. Dan decided that he wanted to go challenge the mountain on his bike. The mountain won. Okay, so he is at home recuperating, and we hope for his quick recovery. My name's Robert McKim. I'm a representative from House District 21, which is the local area here. My father is Howard McKim. My mother is Martha McKim from Thane. I was raised in this area and grew up here. And as I was thinking of how to welcome you, I was thinking about, I'm sure they're all family here. They're families of the three individuals that are going to be inducted today. I want you to just take a minute and look around at each other. Look at your family. Look at the other families. You are part of a heritage here. Our families, your families, the three people that are going to be inducted today, left you a heritage and a legacy, something that you can live by. For you, it's part of your family. It's your value, your ideas, what you want your family to be like. For us in the community, it's the building blocks of what we want our community to be like. Now, as you were coming in, you happened to look up on the wall here, you saw the other 21 inductees into the Heritage Afton Hall of Fame. I think about their families also. I think about what the heritage they have. I hope that we understand that as we go through life, we are using what they gave us. As we go through our communities, we're using what they gave us. They are our building blocks, what we build upon. May we all be able to build upon those blocks that they left with us as we move forward. Their ideas, their thoughts, their values. It's something that's important to you as a family, but it's also important to us as a community. And so I want to welcome each of the families here. I want to welcome the Elno family. I want to welcome the Archibald Gardner family. I want to welcome the Ben Neal family. There's very little we can say in their behalf, and I don't want to steal somebody else's talk and be very long at it. So may I simply say to you, welcome, and thank you very much for what you've done and what your family has done. We'll now move forward with the program as outlined. Go from there.
We appreciate so much your being here. We hope you know how much it means to us. We are grateful for our great heritage and grateful for the great difference that your family, and especially the heads of your family, made a difference in the early days. Elno Foss-Draney successfully mastered every detail of the electrical power production and distribution business and became one of the leading authorities in the country on the management of REA electrical companies. He turned down opportunities to use his acquired knowledge for personal recognition elsewhere and devoted his life to the building of our local REA and our community. We are honored to have his son Terrell here to honor him. Let's welcome him.
Thank you very much for coming today. I don't normally read speeches when I preach at church, but to get through in the allotted time, I'm going to do some reading today. On behalf of Nolan, Helen, Randall, and myself, we express thanks and gratitude to the Town of Afton Heritage Hall of Fame Committee for this tribute and honor that has been paid to our father, our father-in-law, dad, grandpa, and great-grandpa. We are pleased to have here today the last two living brothers of my dad, Jack Draney, if you just hold up your hand over here, and his lovely wife Patty, and Arden Draney, and his lovely wife Joanne. We're pleased to have them here today, along with all the grandchildren and great-grandchildren. The plaque that you will see will identify all the contributions that my father has made, and I will not talk about those. I wanted to express to you some of the thoughts and experiences that I had personally with my father. Let me say that no boy or girl could have asked for a better father. It was and is a privilege to be one of his sons. Dad spent many a night on the canal at the Salt River Power Plant in a boat breaking ice to make sure that adequate water supply was delivered to the Salt River Power Plant. I attended or went with him on many occasions. He managed as if the Lower Valley Power and Light was his very own. Any reflection on the power company he felt was a reflection on himself. He was very sensitive to people in general, and the company employees felt that they were treated with respect. Walden was a little young at the time. Nolan was in school or working, and so I got the opportunity to go with my father on power outages. And we had many of those. He would say to me, always be deliberate, because I'd ask him about climbing poles. That was a little bit scary. He said, always be deliberate when climbing and descending power poles. I think he talked to my Uncle Jack about this also. If you get in a hurry, it's a quick way down to the bottom of the pole. And so he taught this to his employees likewise. When he saw me trying to catch bumblebees along the canal, he showed me how to do it with a pair of leather gloves, and it worked great. And later on in the day, he taught me about mud plasters when I got careless. I used to ride in the drag line that was used to clear the mud and silt and moss from the canal, and did so on many occasions, which would be unheard of in today's environment with liabilities and whatnot. And then one week he asked me to do jobs and chores around the yard, which I did. And that very week, as the drag line was moving along the canal, a beaver had undercut the bank and the drag line tipped over into the canal. The seat that I usually occupied was underwater. Coincidence? I mean, Dad took us fishing several nights each month after work at the head of the canal, and I taught the love of fishing to my own children and my grandchildren. He taught me, son, if you ever borrow tools and you damage them, you are responsible to repair or replace. Don't ever borrow something and return it broken or in poor repair. Dad asked me to assist my Uncle Jack in, I hope he'll remember this, in running instrumentation wire along the pipeline from the Salt River, or the Strawberry Power Plant up to the Strawberry Dam. And the purpose, of course, was to install instrumentation in the dam, which after the wire was installed, he asked me to go with him. We had to crawl down inside the dam. We took off the grate, and Dad put on his pole climbing belt to attach to the rungs. And in addition to that, he had me tie a rope around him so that if in fact the belt broke, that hopefully the rope would keep him from going into the pipeline. So he wanted to make sure that if anything went wrong, people would know what had happened. Never at any time did I hear my father use foul language. When the Bedford Schoolhouse was moved to Afton, every employee with the Lower Valley Power and Light was required and needed to be available to assist in that project, and they were one man short. And being in high school at the time, my dad asked me to assist. So he gave me rubber gloves that went clear up to your elbows, and then leather gloves over the top of that, and then an insulated stick with a hook on the end. And he asked me to cut the power at the Bedford substation after the power had been cut at the Afton substation, so that the employees then could lift the wire over the top of the schoolhouse en route to Afton. One of the best celebrations for me was the 24th of July. at the Freedom Fairgrounds. That was the greatest time of my life, next to Christmas. With explosives that were donated by Lower Valley Power and Light, my dad, along with myself and others in the family, climbed the knoll just south of Freedom, where we would set off one horrendous explosion at daybreak, and that was the initiation of the 24th of July celebration. One late spring, we had, Mom and Dad had purchased a Doc Chadwick home there in Freedom, and one late spring the drain field on our septic system had gone bad, so we had to dig a new drain field. And I'll tell you, it was tough going with pick and shovel. And after several hours of this, I need to interject here that every young boy has a dream. He wants to have his own personal clubhouse. I had mine. It was 4 feet wide and 6 feet long, but it turned out it was too small. So I wanted to build a bigger one, 8 by 8. And I tore down that existing clubhouse and had enough lumber to just make the floor of the new clubhouse. So as we were digging, Dad says, I've got some dynamite over in the office that's becoming unstable, that's beginning to sweat and forming beads of nitroglycerin on the sides of the sticks. So I think we'll take a few of those and use those in assisting in digging this drain field. And just before he lit the fuse, he said, I wonder if maybe the rocks might blow around, so maybe, would it be okay, son, if we took your clubhouse floor and pulled it over the top of this drain field? And I said, sure, that'd be fine. And then there was one horrendous kaboom. And my poor clubhouse floor ended up as kindling wood. That was the end of my clubhouse days. I still remember Ralph Hemmert next door hollering across the fence, hey, Elno, are you starting the 24th of July celebration early? We sons, Nolan, myself, Walden, and Randall, considered ourselves to be very fortunate to be raised in the Elno and Laura Graney family. Dad, of course, needed Mom's help to be successful in the things that he did. We were born with a good name. Thank you.
Could we have the Draney family stand, please? I want to know what kind of car you're driving, Arden.
What kind?
When we were in school together, he had the hottest car in school. He had to promise his dad he wouldn't push it all the way to the floor because he couldn't afford the gas. Ben Neal,